Hey, how we doing, everybody? My name's John Denton. Thank you for joining me. And as you can tell from the title of the video, it's just going to be a short one talking about the quite horrible passing of the young man, the young star, Juice WRLD, this morning, sort of earlier today, it seems. Needless to say, before I go on, this video is absolutely not monetized. That's not what this is. And I was unsure whether to produce a video on this subject, but I started seeing lots of people in my comments asking me to react to his music. So I just wanted to just kind of speak about the subject ever so slightly. Just quickly before we go on to look at the lyrics of the song Legends, which are which are sort of upsettingly prophetic once again. The circumstances of his death, like, we have to assume, and it is assumptions here, that I know the guy struggled with substance abuse, with substance addiction, I should say, and the circumstances of how he passed horribly, like a severe seizure in Chicago airport. It just reminded me of somebody that I knew when I was much younger, when in fact I was 21, and they started having huge and very, very severe seizures based on withdrawal from an opioid addiction. And yeah, I mean, fortunately that person didn't pass away, but it was about 6 months. They lost like huge amounts of memory, their personality changed, and they're very, very close to passing as well. And it really shook me at the time at how severe this sort of stuff is. It wasn't the same level as somebody who was even doing too much, standard Class A drugs or anything like that. It was an addiction that wasn't even like seemingly that severe. It wasn't really changing them day to day and how I was seeing that person, but the withdrawals over a very, very short period of time, like a couple of days, was causing that, and it definitely shook me. And then to hear that, assuming similar situations, I may be completely wrong, and if I am, then I do apologise. But it did really remind me of that, and it just made me want to speak before we go and have a look at these song lyrics and talk about the general situation of these young artists passing and how tragic it is. These drugs, whether it's lean or general painkillers, perks, all these sorts of things are severely dangerous. I mean, I like, it's pretty obvious to say this sort of stuff, but however, if even one word out my mouth makes somebody reconsider their choices in taking it for the first time, or if they're stuck in a sort of spiral of addiction, reaching out to somebody, reaching out to the right people, not necessarily the people in that circle, reaching out to a parent, reaching out to a teacher, whoever it is, and looking to see if they can get some help before it's too late, before they've had bad trips or something like that, even early doors in that thing, if you feel like you might be. And also, in a musical culture where drugs are spoken about so often, I think it's important to speak kind of about the dangers of these sorts of things. And of course there's all sorts of systemic stuff going around of why this sort of stuff happens, and people do experiment with drugs. That's a thing that people do, but there's very much a difference between that and addiction. And also that particular strain of drugs is so violently addictive. I mean, you're talking about like 2 to 3 times of taking it and it starts getting physically addictive. It's just a different kind of thing to some of the other drugs out there. And yeah, just something that more awareness just needs to be made. And if unfortunately this is the situation, again, I may be completely wrong about what caused him to pass, but if this is the situation, then at least there's some sort of a conversation to be started. I mean, the song Legends, heard it before, actually reacted to it over on Rock Reacts when X passed. But I mean, you talk about X's death being prophetic with the video to the question mark. The videos are sad and everything like that. Mac Miller's video to Self-Care, and then you have a song where, what's the 27 Club? We ain't making it past 21. They tell me I'm gonna be a legend. I don't want that title now, cause all the legends seem to die out. What the fuck is this about? Mind is foggy. I'm so confused. We keep on losing our legends to the cruel cold world. What is it coming to? The end of the world. Is it coming soon? And it's a fucking awful situation. I genuinely feel, not of course, for his family and friends, and you see Ski Mask out there tweeting, and I just feel for the guy losing his friends in this capacity, in this way. But also, I do genuinely feel for the fans of these artists. I mean, this is a kind of, it's not unprecedented because lots of young artists and musicians over the years have passed, hence the 27 Club, but such like a concentrated amount in such a short space of time, particularly where there's Lil Peep, X, Mac Miller, obviously Juice WRLD now and others. It's a really horrific situation, and I do feel for those fans as well, just kind of attaching themselves to these artists, and then those artists sort of disappearing from their lives. That's a feeling that shouldn't be looked down upon, and the young fans who are feeling certain ways by this should be looked after as well. Like, checking in on his friends and families, of course, but check in on if you know somebody, or you are somebody who's a huge fan of these artists, you're a huge fan of Juice WRLD, then check in with them, because those connections at a young age, I talk about it at an older age too, but at a young age, when you're a teenager too, those connections you make with those artists that speak to you in your heart, they mean a lot. They really do mean a lot. And I don't think it should be looked down upon just because it's some artist that passed away and you're fine, you're a teenage 15, 16-year-old just going on with your life. Like, that stuff can hit extremely hard. So, make sure that if there is anybody in your life, that then you're checking in on them as well, and making sure they're all right, and making sure, they're on the right path, as much as all of us and any of us can do. So, I guess, just to sum up, like, rest in peace to Juice WRLD. It seems weird to even say that, man. Rest in peace, because he had the world at his feet, world at his fingertips. Incredible talent, could seemingly do it all: singing, rapping, making pop hits, and seemed to be a very nice young guy and connecting with so many millions of people as well. And just an awful situation, really. So yeah, that's about it from me, guys. Rest in peace to Juice WRLD. I'm sure we'll see that down in the comments below. And yeah, I'll just see you back on normal videos from tomorrow, I guess. But yeah, that's about it. Rest in peace. It's fucking awful.